Let us now discuss nutrition in plants. Just like other organisms, plants also require food which can supply energy for various metabolic activities. Green plants make their own food, that is, they are autotrophic, okay, and they make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. The plants use the energy in sunlight to prepare food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll. Now, this chlorophyll is present in the green colored body called chloroplast. Remember this. Chlorophyll is present in the green colored body called chloroplast inside the plant cells. In fact, the leaves of a plant are green because they contain tiny green colored organelles called chloroplast, which contain chlorophyll. So keeping this point in mind, we cannot define the process of photosynthesis as the process by which green plants make their own food. The food, what do you mean by the food? So this is glucose. The process by which green plants make their own food like glucose from carbon dioxide and water by using sunlight energy in the presence of chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. Oxygen gas is released during this photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis can be represented as carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of light energy, in the presence of chlorophyll inside plant, gives glucose and oxygen is released. Okay, this is the general photosynthetic representation. Specifically, it is 6 molecules of CO2 is combining with 6 molecules of water. Obviously, water will be coming from soil only in presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll inside the plant gives 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecule of oxygen. You'll have to remember this reaction. Okay, this reaction would be useful for your in your entire life. Okay, because this is the basics for basics in any stream you go. Obviously in science specifically, but into it, whichever field you choose, you have to remember this. So the carbon dioxide gas required for making food is taken by plant leaves from the air. The carbon dioxide enters the leaves through tiny pores in them called stomata. Water required for making food is taken from soil. This water is transported to the leaves from the soil through the roots and stem. The sunlight provides energy required to carry out the chemical reaction involved in the preparation of food. The green pigment called chlorophyll present in the leaves helps in absorbing energy from sunlight. Remember, this is an important point. The green pigment called chlorophyll present in green leaves helps in absorbing energy from sunlight. Oxygen gas is produced as a byproduct. The food prepared by the green leaves of a plant is in the form of simple sugar called glucose. This glucose food made in the leaves is then sent to different parts of the plant. The extra glucose is changed into another food called starch. Remember this extra glucose is changed into another food called starch. This starch is stored in the leaves of the plant. Glucose and starch belong to a category of foods called carbohydrates. The foods like carbohydrates prepared by the photosynthesis contain chemical energy stored in them. Thus, the green plants convert sunlight energy into chemical energy by making carbohydrates. The food prepared by photosynthesis provides all the energy to a plant which it needs to grow. And when we eat plant foods like food grains, fruits and vegetables, the chemical energy stored in them is released in our body during respiration. The photosynthesis takes place in the following three steps. First, absorption of sunlight energy by chlorophyll. Second, conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen by light energy. Third, reduction of carbon dioxide by the hydrogen to form carbohydrate like glucose by utilizing the chemical energy obtained by the transformation of light energy. The conditions necessary for photosynthesis to take place are first sunlight, chlorophyll, second chlorophyll, third carbon dioxide, and water is the last, fourth one. When the plant is kept in a dark place, it cannot make more starch by photosynthesis because there is no sunlight. So the plant kept in a dark place uses the starch already stored in the leaves during respiration. The plant will use up all the starch stored in its leaves in 3 days. So after 3 days, the plant leaves will not have any starch in them, and we say that the leaves have been destarched. Now, what are the raw materials for photosynthesis? The raw materials are carbon dioxide and water. So let us understand how plant obtain carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So there are large number of tiny pores called stomata on the surface of the leaves of plants. The carbon dioxide gas enters the leaves of the plant through the stomata present on the surface. Each stomata pore is surrounded by a guard cell. The opening and closing of stomata pores is controlled by the guard cells. When water flows into the guard cells, they swell, become curved, and cause the pore to open. On the other hand, when guard cells lose water, they shrink, become straight, and close the stomatal pore. A large amount of water is also lost from the cells of plant leaves through open stomatal pores. So, when the plant does not need carbon dioxide and water to conserve water, the stomatal pores are closed. The oxygen gas produced during photosynthesis also goes out through the stomatal pores of the leaves. Please note that in addition to leaves, the stomata are also present in the green stem of a plant. So green stem of a plant also carry out photosynthesis. So it is clear from our discussion that stomata allow the movement of gases in and out of plant cells. In other words, the gaseous exchange in plants takes place through stomata in leaves. Another point is to be noted that the aquatic plant use carbon dioxide gas dissolved in water for carrying out photosynthesis. Now, how water is obtained for photosynthesis? By the plants. The water required by the plants for photosynthesis is absorbed by the roots of the plants from the soil through the process of osmosis. The water absorbed by the roots of the plants is transported upward through the xylem vessels to the leaves where it reaches the photosynthetic cells and utilized in photosynthesis. So, in general, the two raw materials, carbon dioxide and water, are required by the plants to prepare energy foods called carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are nothing but glucose and starch. But the plants also need other raw materials such as nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and magnesium, etc. for building their body. For example, nitrogen is an essential element used by the plants to make proteins and other compounds. The plants take up nitrogen from the soil in the form of inorganic salts called nitrates or nitrites, or in the form of organic compounds which are produced by bacteria from the atmospheric nitrogen. This Nitrates and nitrites, I hope this terms are familiar with you during the nitrogen cycle. Let us look into the site of photosynthesis, that is chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the organelles in the cells of green plants which contain chlorophyll and where exactly photosynthesis takes place. Chloroplasts can be easily seen by using a light microscope. In the structure of a leaf shown, we can see that the middle layer in the leaf contains photosynthetic cells called mesophils. This cell contains more chlorophyll than other plant cells. A typical photosynthetic cell of a green leaf may contain 100 or more tiny chloroplasts in it, and a whole leaf may contain many thousands of photosynthetic cells. Carbon dioxide needed for photosynthesis enters from the leaf into and enter from air into the leaf through the stomata in its surface and then diffuses into the mesophyll cells and reach the chloroplast. Water is carried to the leaf by xylem vessels and passes into the mesophyll cells by diffusion and reaches the chloroplast. So there is a thin waxy protective layer called cuticle above and below a leaf which helps to reduce the loss of water from the leaf.